In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a $400 gaming and productivity PC that will run games like GTA 5 at 4K 60 FPS. So where's the PC? Hang on, I'll go grab it. Here it is, this beauty. I think every computer deserves a name, and I think I should call this one a Dell. No, that's too obvious. I think I'll call this one Derek. Derek seems like a good name. So Derek here has a Core i7 4770, a GTX 1070, 16 gigs of RAM, a 240 gig SSD, and a 1TB hard drive. Please do not fall. But wait, haven't I seen this video before? Another tech tuber that's bought a PC online for way less than it's worth off some random Craigslist ad that's a complete unicorn that you'll never feasibly be able to buy yourself. Not this video, my friend. I'm going to show you how to build this computer for less than $400. Most of these parts are used, but they are readily available on the used market. And if you know the basics about building computers, you can do the same today by watching this video. And maybe even make some cash if you don't need a $400 gaming and productivity PC. Hint to the follow-up video there. Get subscribed so that you don't miss a future video of how we're going to turn Derek into a nice healthy profit. Let's get into this. As I mentioned before, we're going to get Derek sale ready and beautified in a future video so that you can follow along the process and make a significant profit building computers in your spare time, something that I've been doing for years. But today's video is going to focus on how to buy and build this respectable $400 gaming PC, and I'm going to break this up into 4 simple parts for you. Part number 1 is how and where you can buy these parts and why I chose the purchasing method I did. Part number 2 is Derek's internals, the parts that I chose and how much they cost. Part number 3 is the build process and any necessary modifications. And then finally, part number 4, testing and performance. So let's get the important things out of the way. You may have seen other videos on buying and selling computers for profit, but as I mentioned before, unlike other videos, they'll literally spend months scanning local buy and sell groups for a unicorn deal that, let's face it, you're never likely going to find yourself. So I'm going to use eBay for our pre-loved components, and there's 2 reasons why I'm going to do that. Number 1 is that eBay is a resource-rich and self-regulating market. But what do I mean by that? Things that are overpriced are typically much easier to spot because of the volume of products and the search filtering abilities. And because of the volume of products, you can go on eBay right now and build the exact same system for about the same cost. Links in the video description for you. Instead of spending 5 hours a day, every day, on a local used site trying to find that one guy that has no idea what he's selling. The second reason is eBay's buyer protection. Now, if you know anything about eBay, you probably know that eBay leans heavily towards the buyer's favor. Now, this is going to work out great for us because if you end up buying a faulty product, you're likely going to get your money back, which can't be said for meeting up with a dude in a dodgy back alley handing cash for hardware. However, there is a cost to this. You might have to pay for shipping. You will have to pay for taxes subject to your state and county. Now, I'm not going to include taxes in my final cost up because they would be meaningless unless you live exactly where I do, but everything else will be included in the price. So let's go over these parts, why I chose them, and how much you should expect to spend. Though the used market is pretty volatile, I've chosen these parts because of their price, performance, availability, and resale value as a complete system on the used market. So Derek here started his life as a Dell Optiplex 9020 mini tower with an Intel Core i7 4770, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 1TB hard drive with Windows 10 pre-installed. So why did I buy the Dell 9020 mini tower pre-built? The 4770 inside is still pretty respectable, while only being slightly more expensive than the Dell 9010 or 7010 with the i7 3770 inside. Don't get me wrong, the 3770 is still a good choice, but the 4770, or better yet, the 4790 if you can find that version for cheap, is a performance per dollar winner, and the fact that it's a newer CPU will look better when we go to sell Derek. The Dell Mini Tower can also handle a big boy GPU, which the small form factor can't, so bear that in mind when you go to look for one of these yourself, and Dell have opted to use a standard micro ATX motherboard layout, which other manufacturers have not. The 1TB hard drive will be useful for storing your games and big files, and will also be a good addition for the resale value. We have Windows 10 Pro pre-installed, but why do I care about this? Well, when you're trying to save every penny, Windows 10 is an additional cost. The Windows Key site I buy Windows 10 from is about $12. When every penny matters, this is a nice inclusion. And lastly, I specifically went for the 8GB RAM version. The reason being is that 16GB models were so expensive compared to the cost of another 8GB of DDR3 and that just doesn't make sense. As you can see, a lot of what's involved is figuring out the best deals for the best parts, whether it's beneficial to buy in bundle or an individual item. Tally it up, figure out the best option. So I was fortunate to buy Derek for only $139.99 on an auction that nobody was bidding on. But you can find others like Derek easily by using the buy it now option for about $20 more. Just go onto eBay and sort by lowest price plus shipping. Next up, we need to grab a GPU. This EVGA 1070 was bought for $163.84. And I've had really good experiences with EVGA. It's absolutely crazy how low 1070 prices are, especially compared to 6GB 1060s, which are going for about the $130 mark. This will also be fantastic for us in the resale market compared to other 1060 listings. Although 8GB of memory is still great for gaming, we will likely want to do a bit more, so let's add some more memory. 8GB of the same DDR3 he already had was bought by submitting an offer for $16. And no computer should be without an SSD in 2020, not even Derek, for which you can pick up a 240GB Kingston SSD from Amazon for just under $35. I'm going to be using a different SSD, one I already have on hand, which was used to store my games library, but I have bought about 20 of these Kingston A400 drives while building computers and have been happy with them. It's also nice to buy an SSD new. You have that peace of mind that things are less likely to go wrong. And a used SSD on eBay is not that much cheaper than on Amazon. And lastly, we're going to need some extra juice for that 1070, for which I turned to Amazon Warehouse. I've had great experiences buying renewed items from Amazon, and this 500 watt Cooler Master Master Watt Lite was no exception. It turned up basically new, open box, $34.99, job done. Another good option that can handle the power is an EVGA 430 watt, which can be found new for a similar price. Just make sure that you buy from a trusted brand, read the reviews, and never ever buy a shit PSU. We will also need to pick up this adapter for the motherboard, as Derek uses a non-standard connector. You can modify the new PSU by splicing the old PSU's connector into it, like Linus did in Scrapyard Wars, but if you're going to be selling this computer, buy the adapter. It's $7.59. So for those of you that have been keeping track, that brings our profit to $392.40. And I'm personally really happy about that because I think there's a lot of profit to be made in the used market selling the system. So now, you're going to be getting some packages, and if you can test them all independently, I definitely suggest you do so. Test using Unigine Heaven or Valley for the GPU. And for the CPU, use either 64 or something similar. Let it run for a couple hours, check out any funkiness, no artifacting, no blue screens, and you're basically good to go. Just make sure that you're checking your temperatures using hardware monitor or something similar. First things first, let's open up the side panel and install the GPU. Perfect. I'm sorry, as you can tell, there's some challenges when it comes to pre-builds. I'm not going to go over every step of building a computer, but I am going to tell you the nuances of building this computer and how to overcome them. And the first thing is clearly to remove the riveted hard drive tray. For that, we do need to grab a drill, but don't go drilling just yet, because metal is going to go everywhere on the inside of your case, so let's take the important things out. Before unplugging everything, follow best practices with anti-static and such, and make sure that you take a few pictures, as there's a few cables which are unique to this case and motherboard. This will make it a lot easier to go back to if you don't know what goes where. After that, let's remove both the PSU and the motherboard, which will be done similarly to any other computer you've built. Once everything is safe and out of the way, drill through these 5 rivets on the bottom of the case. Next, move around to the front and drill through these 4 rivets. And finally, inside the hard drive tray, drill through these 4 and you will feel it come loose. Then, suck up the shards. Now's probably a good time to replace the thermal paste if you have some. And right, I'm going to stop you right here. There is only one correct way to apply thermal paste, and that's the smiley face method. Hi. I'm just kidding. Pea, rice grain, your choice. Now let's put this back together. Meet Super Derek! Okay, he doesn't look much different, I'll give you that. But I promise you he is a lot more powerful and we will get into the numbers in a bit. But I want to tell you that the thermals are great. The GPU runs at about 74 degrees C with a boost clock of just over 1800, and the CPU runs at about 76 degrees C. Both of them are stock, and that's how I'm going to run the test. So let's see the numbers. So, Super Derek, the $400 budget gaming and productivity PC that could. 4K gameplay? Some titles, but I mean, we can all agree that for $400 it was pretty good. So now that he's beautiful on the inside, I want to show you what he's going to look like when he's beautiful on the outside too. And we're going to be doing that in the next video, so get subscribed, that's going to be fantastic. But we're going to be doing that on a budget, of course, because we want to maximize profits. So I guess thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video and share it out. Maybe your friends will enjoy it. Comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.